I didn't argue with my mom when she texted me, "Don't come this Christmas, your sister will lose it if she sees you." There was a time I would have asked what that meant. Lose it how? Over what? Because of what I did or didn't do. But that impulse had been trained out of me over years, replaced by a reflex to make things easier, to reduce friction, to disappear when necessary, so I replied, "Okay, I understand. I didn't, not really." But understanding had never been the requirement. Compliance was. Christmas became quiet in a way that felt rehearsed. I cleaned the apartment even though no one was coming. I cooked something simple and ate standing up, like it didn't deserve ceremony. Every action felt temporary, as if I were occupying space that might be revoked if I took up too much of it. I kept thinking about how early I learned this version of calm, how being neutral became my safest expression. My sister had always been the weather unpredictable, consuming, discussed in tones reserved for emergencies. Plans bent around her. Words were chosen carefully, like stepping through glass. I was the opposite. Or maybe I was made into it. When people talk about scapegoats, they imagine conflict, raised voices, accusations. Mine was quieter. I was the variable that could be removed. If tension rose, the solution was distance. If my sister spiraled, the explanation was proximity to me, to something I represented. It was easier to ask me to go than to ask her to change. So I stayed home. I watched something forgettable. I let the evening thin out. At 11:55 p.m., my phone rang. My sister's name lit the screen, and for a moment I considered not answering, not out of spite, out of preservation. But habit won. "What the hell did you do?" she said. Her voice was sharp, cracked open by panic. I could hear something else underneath sirens maybe, or just the echo of her own breathing. "I'm at home," I said. It came out evenly, almost bored. "What's going on?" "There are 2 police cars outside," she said. "They're here. Mom is freaking out. Why are they here?" The question was automatic, like muscle memory. When something went wrong, it had to be because of me. Even now, miles away, I was still the most efficient explanation. "I don't know," I said. "I haven't done anything." She swore. I heard a door slam. Someone crying in the background. My mother, I realized, not dramatically, just small and overwhelmed. The police were there because something had crossed a line that couldn't be managed internally anymore. I didn't know what, and I didn't need to. That was the strange clarity of the moment. For once, the story wasn't being written by us. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was my mother. "Where are you?" she asked, as if the answer might have changed. "At home," I said. "Alone." There was a pause. Not the heavy kind, not the accusatory one. Just silence, filled with the sound of someone else talking to her, asking questions, taking notes, a voice that didn't soften around family roles. "They want to know if you've been here tonight," she said. "I haven't," I said. "You told me not to come." Another pause, longer this time. I imagined the scene without being there. The living room too bright, the tree half lit, uniforms that didn't belong to our rituals. My sister, no longer the weather but a subject of observation. My mother, realizing that the language she'd used for years, "she'll lose it," meant something very specific to people who dealt in procedures, not feelings. No one asked me to explain myself. No one needed me to smooth things over. My phone showed my location history, my quiet apartment, the stillness I'd been sitting in all night. Facts replaced interpretation. "I'll call you later," my mother said finally. Not an apology, not gratitude, just a recalibration. After we hung up, I sat there longer than I meant to. I felt no rush of vindication, no thrill, just a slow, unfamiliar settling, like something heavy had been set down after being carried too long. Christmas ended the way it began, without ceremony. But something had shifted. The distance that had once been framed as my failure was now simply reality, verified by people who had no reason to protect a family narrative. I knew this wouldn't fix anything. My sister would still be volatile. My mother would still be tired. There would be conversations that skirted the edge of acknowledgement without crossing it, but the role I'd been assigned had cracked. For the first time, my calm wasn't absence. It was evidence. I went to bed after midnight, the apartment quiet again. Not lonely exactly, just mine,